Hello again, NCAC sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of This Week in the NCAC. I'm your host, Brett Billhart. On this week's show, we will celebrate those student-athletes who were named NCAC Athletes of the Week in their respective sports for the week ending on Sunday, September the 22nd. Let's open this week's show on the links and recognize a pair of DePaul student-athletes as the Tigers swept the weekly men's and women's golf awards. On the men's side, DePaul senior Charlie Castino was bestowed the honor after finishing in a tie for fourth in the individual standings at the highly competitive Rhodes Fall Collegiate Classic at the Tunica National Golf Resort in Tunica, Mississippi. The Noblesville, Illinois native fired a two-round score of 144, which included back-to-back rounds of 72 to earn the top 5 finish. The Tigers finished 9th overall in the team standings at the event with 604 strokes, while fellow league member Wittenberg finished 2nd overall at the event behind host Rhodes after totaling 590 strokes. The weekly women's award once again went to DePaul senior Paige Gooch, who won her second tournament of the fall season early last week at the O'Brien National Invitational at the Warren Golf Course in Notre Dame, Indiana. Gooch, who resides in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, topped the tournament field after carding a two-day total of 151, including an opening round 79 and a final round 72. The Tigers also went on to win the team title at the event with a two-day total of 626. NCAC golf action continues next weekend, highlighted by DePaul hosting its annual Small College Classic for women's teams and the Ohio Wesleyan men's team hosting its annual Gordon Classic in Columbus. We'll now shift our attention to the pitch and honor both the men's and women's NCAC Soccer Player of the Week selections. The men's award went to Ohio Wesleyan junior midfielder Colton Blecker, who played a vital role in a pair of 2-1 victories over OAC foes last week. With Ohio Wesleyan trailing Ohio Northern 1-0 midway through the second half on Wednesday, Blecker reeled off back-to-back goals in the 76th and 88th minutes to lead OWU to the victory. He continued his late-game heroics on Saturday night as he broke a 1-1 tie with Baldwin Wallace in the 64th minute to give the Battling Bishops the one-goal lead and a perfect 9-0-0 record on the year. DePaul freshman Emma Euland captured the weekly women's award after she led the Tigers to a pair of wins last week, which included a 2-1 win over Hiram in the first NCAC women's soccer match of the season. In the 2-1 win over the Terriers, Euland found the back of the net twice in the first half for her second and third goals of the season. NCAC soccer action opens in earnest this Saturday, as there are 5 league matches scheduled on the men's side and 4 on the women's side. Staying outside, let's now head over to the field hockey stadium and celebrate the accomplishments of Kenyon sophomore Maddie Bresky, who earned NCAC Player of the Week accolades. Bresky, who hails from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, led the ladies to a perfect 2-0 week against NCAC foes. She assisted on the game-winning goal in a 2-0 win over Ohio Wesleyan on Wednesday, and then tallied a pair of goals in KC's 6-1 road win over Wittenberg on Saturday. After her 5-point week, Bresky has now totaled 16 points on the year with 6 goals and 4 assists. As we enter week 4 of the NCAC field hockey season, DePaul currently stands atop the league standings with a perfect 4-0 record, while Denison and Kenyon are tied for second at 3-1, and Wittenberg and Worcester share the 4th position with identical 2-2 marks. We'll now head over to the NCAC cross-country circuit, where league teams battled wet, muddy, and flood-like conditions all across the region last weekend. The weekly award in women's cross-country went to Denison senior Olivia Galano, who finished second out of 199 runners at the Otterbein Invitational with a time of 23:44.8 on a flooded 6K course in Westerville. Her second-place finish enabled the Big Red to finish 4th overall in the final team standings, while fellow NCAC members Worcester and Wittenberg also participated in the event and finished in 7th and 12th places, respectively. The weekly award on the men's side went to Oberlin sophomore Gino Arthur, who led the Yeomen to a second-place finish at the St. Vincent College Invitational in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. He finished second overall in the individual standings with a time of 36:42 on the 8K course. All NCAC cross-country teams will be idle this weekend, with the Ohio-based NCAC teams returning to action on October 4th for the annual All-Ohio Championships in Cedarville, Ohio. Shifting our attention indoors, it is now time to honor Hiram sophomore middle hitter Logan Brewer as she grabbed the weekly NCAC Volleyball Award. The sophomore from Barberton, Ohio, guided the Terriers to a perfect 3-0 week with wins over Penn State Behrend, Kenyon, and SUNY Fredonia. She finished the week with 39 kills, an impressive .517 hitting percentage, 15 blocks, 7 digs, and 5 service aces in 11 total sets. After the first weekend of league volleyball matches, Wittenberg tops the standings at 2-0, while Allegheny, DePaul, and Hiram are all off to perfect 1-0 starts. NCAC volleyball action continues this week, beginning with Wittenberg hosting Ohio Wesleyan tonight, September 24th at 7 p.m., while Oberlin will travel to Denison on Wednesday, and 3 more conference matches are on tap for Saturday. And finally, we'll conclude this week's show by honoring our weekly award winners for football following the first full Saturday of conference play. The Defensive Player of the Week award went to Wabash sophomore Justin Woods, who led the Little Giants' defensive effort in a 50-13 league win over Denison on Saturday. Woods, who resides in Dayton, Ohio, scored the first touchdown of the game on a fumble recovery in the end zone, and then forced another fumble that was recovered by Wabash midway through the third quarter. He also finished the game with 9 total tackles, which included 1 tackle for loss. Worcester senior quarterback Richard Barnes grabbed the weekly award on offense after he led the Fighting Scots to a 39-21 league victory over Oberlin, after he totaled 336 yards of total offense. The senior from Painesville, Ohio, completed 14 of 25 pass attempts for 224 yards and 3 touchdowns, and also added 17 rushing attempts for a career-high 112 rushing yards and an additional score. With the Fighting Scots trailing the Yeomen 14-7 late in the first quarter, Barnes directed 3 straight scoring drives to give Worcester the 25-14 edge at halftime. Following the first full weekend of NCAC football action, 7 teams have logged conference wins, while Ohio Wesleyan, Wabash, Wittenberg, and Worcester sit in a tie for first with perfect 1-0 records against league foes. Conference gridiron action continues this weekend with 5 league matchups on the schedule, highlighted by Ohio Wesleyan hosting Denison in Delaware on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Fans, as always, for up-to-date news, stats, and standings from around the North Coast Athletic Conference, you can log on to our website at www.northcoast.org. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at NCAC, as well as like us on Facebook. And additionally, NCAC Assistant Executive Director Russell Kramer will again be conducting interviews with our weekly award winners throughout the 2013-14 season. The interviews will be accessible on the NCAC website at the end of each week. And for the entire conference staff, I'm Brett Billhart, and thanks for watching.